that effective and not that cost effective in terms when we are talking about treating the strata. Compliance is, of course, is a part when we require to manage the waste. The word the sustainable practice is also important. Even if you see in the ESG framework, waste management is playing a very important role in that. So, if you start thinking of waste management right from the planning stage, then it is probably being managed in a much better way. What if then when you are planning at the end of it? I mean to say here, right from the product development and R&D stage, when you are thinking of a plant, when you are coming up with a product, at that time, you know the chemistry. Whenever there is a production, there will be some components which term as a byproduct or a linked products, which actually you don't want or it do not have the market, and that's why it terms at waste. And when it is falling under the Schedule 1, 2, define the category of Schedule 3 of Hazardous Waste Management Handling Rule 2016 and amended time to time, it is the hazardous waste. Second point is that if we plan this waste in a way when we have its proper identification, its characterization, its standardization, and then defining its treatment destination based on analysis. Its treatability studies that where this waste is probably meant for. So as you can define the philosophy of treatment of each stream in a proper way. And then treatment as per the philosophy, evaluating the regulatory compliance requirement. Why I want to say the word that evaluating the regulatory compliances also as a part of planning stage of waste management, considering the fact that there are, you are right now in Gujarat, or if you go to other part of our country, the requirement of regulations in terms of the disposal and management of waste or wastewater stream or hazardous waste, it varies. Considering the fact that the Gujarat has, potentially available series as one of the sink wherein we are being allowed to dispose the waste. But if you go to a part of our country wherein there is no sea, then your treatment philosophy and end requirement will vary. So this is the planning stage, which is also very important when you want to have a proper waste management strategy or a philosophy. So now waste management philosophy, if you start segregating, because you have now characterized, quantify the different waste streams, then waste and its treatability also in the planning stage. At that stage, when you start segregating the things and then treating it as per the requirement, then your overall waste management philosophy will have much better effective outcomes. So basically, the ETP is one of the very common term which probably we all who have joined this workshop, we all know that wastewater hai, though we need to send it to ETP. ETP is affiliate treatment plant. It comprises of primary, secondary, tertiary. Even now we have a quaternary treatment. Primary, maybe we can have a varieties of treatment starting from say the use of proper coagulant and flocculant, giving a proper flash mixing out of it. The primary clarifier, rather the equalization tank is very important component of any ETP to be managed properly, because whatever we do in the primary part, and if we able to settle down the primary TSS at the primary clarifier itself or a primary settling chamber, whatever you term it, then the load on the secondary will be then optimum and we can get better bio growth, better management, better treatment at my secondary stage. The planning of secondary itself is very important. You go with any of the process, maybe a MBR, you go MBBR, go you basic aeration tank, you go with aeration, you go with the diffused aeration, you go with aerotrailer type of things. There are many ways. The ultimate idea of secondary treatment plant is a biological system, which is a live system. So if we consider our body as a perfect biology body, if you are a person who had defined diet, very good healthy diets you are taking, or suddenly if I feed uh, एकदम तीखा चटपटा आपको खिला दूं, then what will happen? Our system will get defect, एसिडिटी हो जाएगी, लूज मोशंस हो सकते हैं. The ultimate thing is that our biosystem will get disturbed. So same thing is with our ETPs. ETP is perfectly alive system wherein the secondary treatment plant need very consistent, very uniform sort of dosing system. The carbon load optimization is very important. Similarly, maintaining of its MLSs, MLVSs in the aeration tank, maintaining perfect DO. It's work like a fire triangle. You have organic in your wastewater. You need proper biomass and oxygen for its life. If this triangle is completed, your secondary is working very perfectly. And this can be understand when the secondary clarifier gets properly settled and the launder of clarifier is very clear. Then only one can have idea while seeing the plant itself that my ETP is working very perfectly fine. Coming to the tertiary treatment, we having ample of tertiary treatment technologies available going around, starting with the very common media filters. We have pressure set filter, activated carbon filter, multimedia filter. You can have even activated glass filter. This all can have the hypodosing system. There are many such tertiary treatment plan. Again, it's depend on the requirement where we are going for. If we are going for the final reuse or a recovery of the treated water, which probably is the need of our, that we need to plan or maintain our waste management philosophy in a way that we can recover treated wastewater, then the components like RO treatment or ME, when we are talking about, it is not the treatment. RO is a separation methodology. So, as per my way, I take it in a way that it is RO may you do a separation based on the reverse osmosis principle. The solvent, which is the water, which we try to get out of it, and the reject as a permeate, and the reject whatever is there, you then require to be disposed through ME. So ME is a concentration technology, not again the treatment technology for the wastewater. We are concentrating the effluent through ME. The condensate, whatever is generated, again it will have a carry forward, carryovers of the low boilers, which again you require to get treated. So whenever you are trying to define a treatment philosophy, this all component you should give a thought that what and where and why it is required to be placed. Then a second principle is the incinerable sort of thing, like wherein you are not able to treat the effluent, not through ME, not through any other thing, but the final ultimate destination is the incineration, considering its toxicity, considering its reactivity, considering its impact on environment, if otherwise will come up, then you had the option of incinerating the effluent. But since it is a cost component involved, and ultimately the organics, which otherwise would have impact if we used it for the co-processing, pre-processing, or used as alternate fuel and raw material in the cement industry, then the option of incineration should be the least prior. Then we had a multiple effect evaporators wherein the stripper, calandria, CTFD, or common ME, MBR, such type of options are there. And then the upcoming things like we have in the coming slides also I'll discuss regarding the rule 9. So if we just have a glance of the regulatory framework, how the things are, then the industrial effluent discharge in the state of Gujarat or in any other state is regulated under the provisions given to the State Pollution Control Board under the Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1974. Standard of effluent are defined by Central Pollution Control Board. In general, the general discharge standard is given, and there are around 74 industry-specific standards covering the sectors like textile, petrochem, distilleries, dye intermediates, pesticides, CETPs, dairy, and many more such categories. Source segregation is a key component wherein we require to maintain if the effluent or the streams are segregated at well defined at source only, then the further work of its treatment and meeting the regulatory requirement or the purpose of the company to get the recovered water becomes very much easier. So if you have, we are at the state of Gujarat, wherein we are having ample of common infrastructure available for the industrial support and ultimately say environmental infrastructures to safeguard the environment. We have around 45 operational CETPs catering 7,000 around member industries, having a capacity around 900 MLD. Further, there are additional capacity with upcoming expansion or installation. More CETPs are in pipeline. 14 common MEs are there, and 455 captive MEs are there, and 24 common spray dryers are there. These are the data of GPCB Annual Report 2025. So now the CETPs plays very important. As an industry, when we are discharging to the CETPs, it doesn't mean that CETP has to meet the compliance and my role ends here. No, we need to think that if CETP is not complying, ultimately it is a reciprocation of any non-compliance to the member industry. If you go and see the notification of 1/1/2016 amendment on the CETP notification, it is September 24, 24 September 24 probably. So in that notification, you will find that the role and responsibility of individual industries, CETPs as an operator, is very well defined. So it is not now only the CETPs who are responsible, it is the member industry who also had a certain responsibility and role to play. So where one can discharge or disposal practice after treatment is of course the designated as per the norms. You may have a designated drains meeting the disposal norms. There are discharge permission given for certain municipal STPs में भी है, rivers में भी है, notified discharge points हो सकते हैं. And evaporation system MB, MVR के through deep sea discharge or zero liquid discharge. These are the, in general, if I talk in toto about the industrial effluent treatment and discharge practices. Again, the segregation plays very important role in even in the hazardous waste management. The components like if the organic, it's inorganic, it's toxic, it's biomedical है, वो radioactive है, all such waste, if we segregate properly, again when we deep dive in the organic section or in a toxic, again we have many more such components available wherein we need to work it on so that we can get the things segregated, packed properly, and then dispose it to the common hazardous waste management facility. So if we just to give you the glance of available common infrastructure for common hazardous management, we have 13 operational TSDF, means treatment, storage and disposal facilities for the hazardous waste. Eight are proposed, three capped and closed, and one not in operation. Captive TSDF means there are certain industries like refineries, like some of the dye industries, which have their own landfill sites. Such are termed as captive incineration facility. We have five hazardous waste incineration facilities and 42 captive. Drum decontamination facilities, 127 facilities we have for drum decontamination. Yeah, anyone have anything to say?
Oh, sir, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So the another part what I was talking about is the utilization of waste under Rule 9. If we the crowd the group which we are discussing today, if some of them are presently working as a profession in any industry, then this term trial run or rule 9 permission, yeah, you might have come across. And if the those who are from the academic background only, then for you this that cup of tea wherein you may require to work when you entered in the profession world, that these are the ways which we are generating, find it out that how this waste can be utilized. Utilization of hazardous waste under rule line is under this is under the amendment given in the hazardous waste management handling rule 2016, in the hazardous waste management in the environment protection rules, wherein this rule 9 governs the utilization of hazardous waste as a resource or after pre-processing for co-processing or any other approved uses. Utilization is allowed only after authorization from SPCB PCC and or approval from CPCB based on applicable SOPs. SOPs are the standard operating procedures for the specific waste utilization. And if it does not exist, then the project proponent must have to take approval for the trial run, and then based on the trial and findings, the SOP is prepared and then it is circulated. And this how is the broadly, if you look in that big level, then it is. If you just go in the minute level, then what trial run means? The trial run means that when say you are proposing that I'm having a hazardous waste generating from one of my process which contains say aluminum chloride. So the potential of converting this to polyaluminum chloride is seen. Okay, now the PAC manufacturer who can use this waste, since it has say a certain percentage of AlCl3 available with it. So this how the ideology started. Ki, okay, there is a waste which contain a certain percentage of chemicals which is matching with the requirement of manufacturing of say PAC, wherein this about this percentage of AlCl3 if available in the form of say aluminum hydroxide or aluminum oxide, because AlCl3 will not available as such in aqueous media. So this how the genesis started. Ki, okay, there is a potential. Now what to do? So now my PAC manufacturer will approach to CPCB that I'm having this as a waste generating from this particular sector of industry, which contains the percentage of required raw material from which I can manufacture my product, which otherwise would have, they use the fresh resources. Secondly, this manufactured product is not going for any human consumed purpose. It is for such and such purpose. This having the scope, this having this treatment process, this how it's being manufactured, this will not have any environmental impact. And then they will put up an application to CPCB that yes, that's the thing, we are ready and we want to go for a trial. Based on the CPCB and SPCB permission, the trial run is being planned wherein the project proponent has to carry out the Uh, Trial run means the actual operation on ground in presence of CPCB, State Pollution Control Board officers, wherein the monitoring of pre-monitoring, post-monitoring, even the product monitoring, your waste monitoring, everything will be done. That when you are manufacturing using the fresh raw material, then what is the status? And when you are manufacturing using the hazardous waste as raw material, then what is the status? And then this comparison based on the delta that okay, these are the gaps, whether it can be fulfilled, yes. Then based on that, the SOP is prepared. That's how once this SOP is finalized, there is a technical committee or CPCB which goes green signal that yes, this SOP is okay. Then once this SOP is finalized, then based on this SOP, then anywhere in our country, in any part of the country, say this SOP trial run has been carried out in the say the state of Gujarat. But if someone sitting at Maharashtra or Tamil Nadu wants to do, then further no trial run is required based on this SOP. They can uh, take a call and approval from State Pollution Control Board and do the things. So the second bullet says that if SOP exists, CPCB rule is to circulate the SOP to SPCB, which is available on the web page, and then further no trial run is required from CPCB. And for the waste co-processing in the cement plants, guidelines already available. So further no SOP is required. So if you see the web link which is given in the screen, 127 such SOPs are available on CPCP website. If you see that web SOP, just go on it and see it, then you will find that okay, ये waste के लिए already available है. Then you just need to contact such vendors who can take that waste, talk to the state authority, talk to the vendors, have agreements, go to the state, take authorization of disposing your waste under rule 9 to this vendors. This how this single slide talks about the rule 9 permissions and utilization of waste under rule 9. So this is things. Then how, then what, when the SOP is available, verify the applicability of a CPCB SOP. State board will check it. They'll check the minimum requisite facility which is given in the SOP, site verification, and passbook issuance. That's how then the state board take a further step to before it give authorization to use the waste as a raw material under rule 9. So this the regulatory framework and requirement that GPCB of course follows the National Environmental Law under Water Act, Air Act, and Environment Protection Act. Industry need to obtain CCA. We hear the term CCA in other part of the country. There are the term consent for, like here we say consent to establish, CTE. वहां पे कई जगह आप साउथ साइड इफ यू गो यू विल हैव कंसेंट फॉर एस्टैब्लिशमेंट, CFEB वर्ड यूज करते हैं. So but the ultimate is the consent and authorization we give consolidated in the state of Gujarat, and it's the word is, and in some part some state follow a different consent under Air Act, consent under Water Act, and authorization for the hazardous waste. So there are three such permissions or document required. Hazardous waste authorization is applicable to all industries generating, storing, treating, transporting, or disposing hazardous waste. So entire spectrum who is dealing with the hazardous waste need to have the authorization. The list of such waste are given in the schedule 1, 2, 3, and 4 under the hazardous waste rules. Authorization includes detail of quantity, characterization, its storage method, its disposal routes, like where and how it should go. You check the schedule 1, 2, 3, and 4, wherein there is the list, there is a process, there is the content, so that you can understand that how my things which is available with me, whether it is falling under hazardous waste or what. So that here is that these are the schedules wherein you can check such things. Then coming to the regulatory requirements, which are now extended producer responsibility and new terms. Hello, shall I go ahead? चलेगा।
Yes, please, sir.
उस बीच में किसी का शायद स्पीकर ऑन होता है। एनीवे, सो ई वेस्ट में हम ईपीआर में हैं, हम बैटरी वेस्ट में वी आर इन ईपीआर, प्लास्टिक वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट वी आर इन ईपीआर, and EPR requirements are there now. For CND waste we are in EPR now. For the solid waste now we are in EPR. So this is the new thing which has recently come up, and from April onwards this is going to applicable. So bulk waste generator, who are the bulk waste generator for whom this EPR will be applicable is the area, the unit having a built up area more than equal to 20,000 square meter, or water consumption more than equal to 40 KL. The and wastewater generation is 100 kg per day. So, bulk waste generator must ensure on-site processing or obtain EPR certificates from the municipalities. The duty of bulk waste generation is to register with the concerned local bodies to centralized online portal. The registration certificate will have the list condition that must be fulfilled. Then the waste collection and handing over, make necessary arrangement for collecting and handing over dry waste, sanitary waste, special care waste to the local body or an authorized agency. Wet processing, we need to have online on-site collection and processing of waste. Wet waste or horticulture waste is applicable through composting or biomethanation or any advanced approved technology. But for the existing, we had a window of having a tie-up with the local bodies. But for the new upcoming site, this is mandatory that they should arrange their on-site collection processing of wet waste. That extended bulk waste generator responsibility will be applicable. Obligations will be calculated as per the norms and periodically issued by CPCB, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, and the Department of Drinking Water and Sanitation. Then there is a process of getting the certificates, engagement restrictions, and annual filing is also there through the portal. So now we have like a four set of segregation. One will be the wet waste, one will be the dry waste, one will be the sanitary waste, and fourth is the spatial care waste. This is as per the new solid waste management rule 2026. Again, one more new guideline came under the water pollution grant refusal and cancellation of consent amendment guideline 26, and air pollution grant refusal or cancellation consent amendment guideline 26. One thing is that sooner or later, Central Pollution Control Board will become the central, consent. All consent will be processed initially through CPCB, and then it will be passed on through the State Pollution Control Board. Whatever application will be there, then it will be go centrally first, and then it will be distributed to the respective states through the portal system. And as per this guideline, which is a recently framed and come out, the CCO validity is now cancelled. The the validity period is now having a different sense on it. Inspection frequency is also now, a bit changed. Even the third party auditor, the environment audit scheme which ministry has come up, that can go and visit the site, and their report will also be applicable. One time fee structure, CTO based will be issued from a validity period of 5 to 25 year based on the one time or additional fees for extension. Deemed CTE for MSME, the notified area CTE auto granted upon self certified application. Removal on timelines in the rules. So this renewal timeline requirement is now removed or reduced. Location criteria is removed. There is no specific condition imposed by CPCB. Now the state board can, based on the local area requirement, they can define the things. So, putting my words here off, and we can take few questions, and then I think we can close it. So that's all from my side. uh, Anyone
Yeah.
want to put up anything? You can take it up, or anyone has put anything on chat, we can check and we can take.
Sure. Sure, sir. There are two questions in our chat box, so I'll take that first, and then if there is any question from the participants, they can unmute yours themselves. So
Okay.
there is first question when you mention the local body. So in that context, what do you mean? Whether it is GPCB local office or other government authorities?
For who's this DP? DP, you can please Divya Patil. Acha, she has left.
Dharmesh
No,
Patel. Dharmesh Patel.
Dharmesh Patel. Dharmesh, can you just unmute yourself and explain your question?
Mr. Dharmesh, could you please unmute yourself and ask the question?
I think he's not there. So the local body, if I'm getting the point that when it is regarding the solid waste management, that the local body means the local authority, not only the GPCB. It is the local authority who manage the solid waste.
Correct,
Then
sir.
Bhavin Modi has asked like captive waste site has any expiry date? Captive waste site has expiry date. Again, this required more elaboration because the capacity of the captive waste site, if it is fulfilled, then it has to be capped. If the capacity is not yet fulfilled, it is operational. That's what is why catch from the question what is written over there. How solar panel. Solar panel waste guidelines are under process. CPCB is making it is will be counted probably in line with the e-waste only, but the guideline is under preparation at CPCB.
Right. Thank you so much for answering the question, sir. If participants, if there are any further questions, please unmute yourself and ask. But this is the correct chance for you to ask questions if there are anything particular to your industry, because I guess this is the great opportunity for you all to address your concerns and get correct answers because he has vast experience as I introduced in the CPCB. So please take this opportunity and ask questions.
Sir, polyurethane foam is a hazardous waste.
Polyurethane foam is a hazardous waste. You are stating it. You want to answer it.
We have confusion
You
because it contains raw material toluene in diisocyanate. So we are using toxic raw material, but after product it is stable and non-flammable. But we have confusion about the hazardous waste concept. So that's why I have questioned that it is a hazardous waste or not, or it is required to
But see,
send sample.
the urethane as per as the waste when it is not in use at your premises and you want to dispose it, then probably its terminology is different. But when you are manufacturing it, at that time its stability and its longevity is different. It's see, we are manufacturing even poison, right? So the poison is my product at a time when I am selling it, but when I am disposing it, it's a hazardous waste. So that what is the thin line you have to understand when you want to deal with the things. So now if you see the content of your polyurethane, you can check the schedule 3 probably, which talks about the characteristic, because the process वाली बात तो schedule 2 की है, तो उसमें तो आपका नहीं आएगा. Schedule 3 और 4 में आप एक बार चेक कीजिए कि क्या आप जो साइनाइड कंटेंट बोल रहे हैं उसकी लिमिट में वो है कि नहीं है. उस हिसाब से then you can come up with the thing that कि वो hazardous waste में आएगा कि नहीं जब वो उसकी लाइफ या वो एक्सपायरी हो जाती है. तो अपन जो अगर गोली भी खाते हैं, पैरासिटामोल भी खाते हैं, तो इफ इट इज एक्सपायरी, इट इज अ hazardous waste because it contains such chemicals. So you need to check it in that lens. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Sir, we have question in the chat box. So,
Glass wool
Mr.
is
Mihir Singh.
the hazardous waste. Lokesh Agrawal ने जो पूछा, it is the hazardous waste, glass wool.
Yeah. And sir, one participant is again asking, how do we handle solar panel waste?
See, solar panel, if you see, it has, a two silicon-based component, aluminum cake frame hai, and there are many. So if you see in a proper way, then entire solar panel can be recycled in various things. So the solar panel waste, now, of course, it is a concern because if you start seeing the age of solar development in our country, now it is the age when we will have the old solar panel coming in a bulk in the market in the coming 1 or 2 years. So right now there are a few I find that solar panel recycling units are there, but yes, its guidelines and detailing are under process. It will come soon. So, but if you check the components, all things are recyclable. All things are can be properly removed and handled carefully, like what in the e-waste we are doing.
Right, sir. Any other participants would like to unmute you and ask? Okay. Great. I guess, sir, you have answered all the questions very well, and
Yeah.
it was
Thank
wonderful
you.
session, I would say. Particularly when I say we have been focusing on industrial safety and related domain, but we had touched upon for the very first time on the environment side of it. And thank you for like this very enlightening sessions of yours. And we would definitely like to continue focusing on environment part as well along with the industrial safety because it is somehow linked to industrial safety and environment. So if there are no any further questions, I would like to conclude this particular session, thanking especially, first of all, sir, for taking the time out for this very interesting session. And of course, the participation and the questions showed that the interest, especially in this topic, and the zeal to learn more in this area. So thank you so much, sir, for your time and expertise. And thank you all the participants for joining. I would request all to please turn on your cameras to take a group picture so that we can post officially. Thank you.